ladies and gentlemen, well, I may have more of a funny thing to do because, we all gotta have fun things, so that'll be probably the next video. But, of course, we are going to go with this because this is actual news. So we have a young kid, 12-year-old, exposing what his school has been doing to him, specifically, him wearing a shirt that says there's only two genders, and then he being forced to take it off, all this great stuff. Because, schools are always free thinking, and you're allowed to say whatever you want, wear whatever you want, but of course, if it goes against a narrative, then, well, I guess, shame on you. Well, this is what this kid is going through, or what he experienced, and then he makes a beautiful, I would say, a paper about it, or a great speech. I guess he'd write it in speech, and says it coherently for everybody to hear. It's kind of sad on how our lives and everything that we're going through that a 12-year-old speaks more sense, more intellectual thought than any of our politicians, any of the far left, especially because that's just not the greatest. You expect our politicians to be higher up in the, IQ department. Unfortunately for them, they're not. Take a look at this.
7th grade at Nichols Middle School. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. I never thought that the shirt I wore to school on March 21st would lead me to speak with you today. On that Tuesday morning, I was taken out of gym class to sit down with two adults for what turned out to be a very uncomfortable talk. I was told that people were complaining about the words on my shirt, that my shirt was making some students feel unsafe. Yes, words on a shirt made people feel unsafe. They told me that I wasn't in trouble, but it sure felt like I was. I was told that I would need to remove my shirt before I could return to class. When I nicely told them that I didn't want to do that, they called my father. Thankfully, my dad supported my decisions and came to pick me up. What did my shirt say? 5 simple words. There are only two genders. Nothing harmful, nothing threatening, just a statement I believe to be a fact. I have been told that my shirt was targeting a protected class. Who is this protected class? Are their feelings more important than my rights? I don't complain when I see pride flags and diversity posters hung throughout the school. Do you know why? Because others have a right to their beliefs just as I do. Not one person, staff, or student told me that they were bothered by what I was wearing. Actually, just the opposite. Several kids told me that they supported my actions and that they wanted one too. I was told that the shirt was a disruption to learning. No one got up and stormed out of class. No one burst into tears. I'm sure I would have noticed if they had. I experience disruptions to my learning every day. Kids acting out in class are a disruption, yet nothing is done. Why do the rules apply to one yet not another? I feel like these adults were telling me that it wasn't okay for me to have an opposing view. Their arguments were weak, in my opinion. I didn't go to school that day to hurt feelings or cause trouble. I have learned a lot from this experience. I learned that a lot of other students share my view. I learned that adults don't always do the right thing or make the right decisions. I know that I have a right to wear a shirt with those 5 words. Even at 12 years old, I have my own political opinions, and I have a right to express those opinions. Even at school, this right is called the First Amendment to the Constitution. My hope in being here tonight is to bring the school committee's attention to this issue. I hope that you will speak up for the rest of us so we can express ourselves without being pulled out of class. Next time, it may not only be me. There might be more students that decide to speak out. Thank you for your time and good night.
So yeah, I guess that kid is braver than most people. This is what we're talking about here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have kids that are being more braver than us. A kid that would obviously has to risk his educational career and everything at a very young age where he can't even get a job to where he'll be ostracized by the left, even possibly attacked. And we have 12-year-olds showing us up. What does that make of you guys that are doing what you're doing, not saying what you will, and just allowing this type of atrocity and insanity to happen? We're having more kids, more students speak out more than ever, and we're being shunned by by people significantly younger than us that has more courage and is more American than the rest of us, and that's what I had to have this great concern here. So we really need to step up our game here. I want to see a lot more voices, a lot more people, not just from politicians like politicians, but or people or more famous or known internet personalities like maybe Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, stuff like that. I want more people, more ordinary people speaking out against this BS because it needs to happen. Because the reality is that we keep on letting it happen, which is just insanity in itself. Many times where I have my own family try to tell me, oh, don't say that or whatever. It's like, but what's the point? If you're going to hide in cowardice, then nothing will change. And then when that bad stuff does happen, when it does come knocking at your door, you only have yourself to blame. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just the reality. Even my own family member is in fear of losing his job because I can't even say anything remotely political in an actual restaurant because he's feared of being ostracized or losing his job. What's the point of being able to live in fear in that type of reality? You should be able to speak what you want, say what you will, without having that fear. Now, obviously, you probably don't want to go bad-mouthing company or whatever, but you should be able to say what you want without people going completely insane on you. And that's just the reality that we're living in. If you guys think that this is not happening as well, we have this to where Vermont school removes male-female terms for reproductive system lessons. Families of students at Founders Memorial School received a letter on April 20th informing them of the changes to the science and health curriculum. The changes reflect the district's desire to use gender-inclusive language, Principal Sarah Jabuski wrote on the letter. In an effort to align our curriculum with our equity policy, teachers will be using gender-inclusive language throughout this unit. With any differences, we strive to use as person first, language as best practice, Jabuski wrote. Instead of referring to as a person or to a person as a boy or male, teachers will say person who produces sperm. Likewise, they will no longer say girl or female, but person who produces eggs. The ethics for school district noted in the letter that teachers were working on editing worksheets to reflect the new changes. While teaching students about the human body, the district will focus on the physical and emotional changes that occur during puberty and briefly introduce the structure and function of human reproductive systems. The parents and guardians interested in viewing the materials themselves were told a binder containing the handouts and will be found in the school's main office. The director of Outreach for Parents, rights group Parents Defending Education, shared the letter on Twitter. New language rules just dropped for 5th graders in Vermont, and they don't include the words boy and girl or male and female, wrote Erica Sanzi. Caroline Moore, the Vice President of Parents Defending Education, blasted the change in a statement to post Wednesday afternoon. This manipulation of elementary anatomy and sociology is a bridge too far and a precursor to what we will see if it ever proposes to change the Title X going into effect, Moore said. A boy is a boy and a girl is a girl. We all know this, so why are we pretending we don't? This is the primary way to differentiate between human beings at birth and not assigning like a class project. You cannot politically correct yourself out of this. The letter received mixed reactions on Twitter, with some users complaining the practice to Ellis' 1932 novel Brave New World, while others call for this to be pulled from public schools. Absurd. A person who produces sperm is by definition a male. A person who produces eggs is by definition a female. Winter wrote severe. And sex is not assigned at birth, it's assigned at birth. How exhausting is all this nonsense? The Essex West River District School Board adopted a new policy in the June 2021, my apologies, under which schools would use anti-racist, and LGBTQ+ affirming perspective to reform curriculum decisions starting in pre-K. The policy passed in 8-1. The execution is not invited to request for comment for the post Wednesday morning. Yeah, so if people want to say that it's not coming after kids or they're not going after kids, then, well, this is pretty much here. You don't want to have to offend people because of their feelings. Here's my whole point about this whole feeling BS, alright? This whole feelings thing is really getting annoying. Feelings do not dictate reality. Feelings do not dictate on how things go. People always want to say, oh, feelings this or feelings that. Well, here's the thing. If we go everything by feelings, we don't get anything done. We warp reality every single way that we go, and then we end up not becoming a productive society. We end up dying as a species. Feelings is not being everything. There is a form of respect that we should have of people, but feelings should not dictate on how things go. Alright? This is just the reality. Now, obviously, we don't want to we should have some type of form of feelings with, maybe with the fact of, killing and stuff like that, rape. Obviously, we have to have some type of feeling factor there, but these are considered crimes. And we should all know that crimes should be, not allowed. But what they're doing here is just trying to completely warp reality, warp kids into not thinking this. You know what's going to end up happening, too, by the way? That's what they said with the Title IX. Women, I don't really agree with a lot of the Title IX stuff because I think it's inherently to go after men in every single regard. So in this retrospect, this is to, say it's completely fine to have all these men enter women's spaces, have women have no rights, and whenever there is some type of, sex-based type of stuff to where it's actually sexist or what have you, or you're not allowing women to work in certain places, this will be allowed because they're trying to remove that part entirety. So yeah, this is what's happening, guys. Time to face the music. Time to really start fighting back because if we don't, I think we're gonna lose everything. And by all means, let it come if you guys are not willing to fight for your own abilities for your freedoms and your ability for your own children to have a better life. It's on your terms. I'm trying my best. Are you? Alright guys, that's a video. Like, subscribe, share.